All right, what up, everybody? This is Eric. Yeah, I'm sure you know me, man. Conflict Crew, do War of the Words. Commentator in the cage on these conflict fight nights, man. And today we're going to meet up just a little bit to do some coverage on Conflict 28. You can also catch up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all this week on the show, War of the Words. Just type it in on Facebook and you'll be there. Gonna have Blake Rice on. I think Malcolm Stanley, all the Bad Apple crew, Total Force, Augusta Fight Club, Kobe Wall, Bar Weeks, Robbie Cullum, Carl Crawford, Vasquez, David Langston. I mean, we're gonna have the crew on out here. As you can see, doing it outside today, man. Such a great day, and just having one of these kind of days. Figure we just record outside. Why not? So I apologize if there's any interference with the wind. Jamie Day also, I think, is going to be on. But anyways, let's kick it off, man. Conflict 28 started off. We had a grappling match, awesome BJJ grappling match between two brown belts. Jarrett Smotrilla out of Charleston Mixed Martial Arts, Xavier Mills firing out of Bad Apple MMA, I believe. I believe so. And great grappling match, great display of technique back and forth. As happens kind of commonplace when you get up into some of these higher rankings and these belts. Only 10 minutes going on in the cage, man. Fight went to a draw. No one was tapped. No arms were snapped. A great fight, great display, great appreciation. And I think the part I liked the most was the fact that there was a lot of excitement and cheering from the fans and stuff. And I like seeing that education level come up, so props out to both those guys. Moved on to Devis Harrison versus Travis Anderson at 185, and Travis Anderson just came in there and put the hammer down in the first round. Man, that dude, what a big dude, man. I can't wait to see him fight again. I believe he was out of BA as well, or maybe F3, I don't know. I should have probably looked a little bit of this up before I hit record, but you know how we get down. But anyway, Travis, man, check him out. It's the only dude I ever met that had like those crazy, man, awesome fight, great fight. Moving down again, we had Isaac Phillips versus Malcolm Stanley. Isaac Phillips, representing for the Gingers, man, came in, fought hard, fought a good fight. I thought out of all of Malcolm's opponents, he did the best. It was exciting, but man, Malcolm Stanley, he's one of these guys that I've been following a lot. And he kind of, I've been around so long and watched so many fighters come and go or move on, all the various things they do in this wild sport. That, and I'm not always right, but sometimes I see these guys that stand out and they seem like they got something about them that's just going to write a tale in our book of Southeast MMA. And Malcolm Stanley seems like that guy. And if you've seen him fight, he's a great fighter. TKO win, so hats off to him and the BA crew there. Next up, David Langston, Trayvon Jackson. Kind of a weird moment here. We're actually gonna talk to Blake Rice about the stoppage on this fight, but great display from both guys, man. Big body kick and follow-up from David Langston, who gets the W. He couldn't be happier, man. Great interview from him. And like I said on Saturday night, and I'll say now, fighters come to fight. And that's what both those guys did. So hats off to them. The rest of that stuff's not on them. Les Sandusky versus Jamar Tarver, another awesome fight. Back and forth, man. I mean, these guys were really, really going after it. And I felt like at one point, and just me from where I was standing, I thought Sandusky was out on his feet at one juncture. And what determination from Tarver, and what heart shown from Sandusky, and skill, who's going overseas in just a few days and came out with the W before he leaves. And I think that's an awesome story to tell. Next up, the heavyweights, man. We're waiting a long time to see some big boys get in there on the amateur side of things. Ito Vasquez, my boy, comes in to fight another one of my guys, a friend of mine, Tyrell Johns. Both dudes, man, just did exactly what you want and expect in these big fights, man. Just came out, gave it everything they got, hands, and just, you were there, and if you weren't, you should have been. It was an awesome fight. Hats off to Vasquez who took it late. It was a great fight, man. One of them ugly wars that you're glad is ugly. It's like the one time you're happy that your date shows up and she looks like, you know what I mean? It's an awesome fight, man. Great guys, definitely great guys. Then we come up to Carl Crawford and Jordan Weeks, man. I told you guys this was going to be the sleeper fight. It was going to be one of these fights that's really exciting, and I think that they proved me right, man. It was more grapple heavy than I think that I thought was going to go down, but wow, at the display from Carl Crawford and Jordan Weeks, man. I mean, the technique, the transitions and the sweeps in this fight in particular, I thought made this one a blast and a true a gift to anybody who appreciates BJJ especially. It was an awesome fight. Crawford came away with the W. Then we moved on to our strawweight fight, the only WMMA fight on the card. You know how Conflict gets down. Very proud to represent Shantane Creer come in, and Tanya Lease both making their debuts. It was another war, man. This card really had something special to it, man. There's such intensity in all these fights. Shantane, obviously the bigger fighter. She used her range really well. She used the 1-2 to her advantage. She was able to keep Lace at bay a lot. And Tanya did a good job with her kicks and with coming over the top, closing the distance. But I think Shantane, was really able to utilize that extra space that they had, and kind of kept her at the end of her punches for the majority of the fight, of which there were many from both sides. It was a war, an awesome fight, man. Can't wait to see both of those fighters back, and it looks like there's a lot in store for Shantane Creer as she has now begun to climb that strawweight ladder towards the title. Robbie Collum up next, fought Montreal Barber. Guy came in on a few days' notice. I know how bad Robbie wanted to fight and that importance of keeping the momentum. He's the current #1 contender to face Johnny Williams later this year. So took on Montreal Barber, took the fight in 3 days' notice, and I'm just going to be real, man. He steamrolled right through that guy. It was a very fast win. Another impressive W for Robbie Collum, and we'll get a little more to that here in a second. Let's see. Who is next? Josh Collins and Colton O'Brien, the Iron Dagger, man. Let me tell you, you guys ever seen that video? I think it's, I can't remember the one guy's name. It's Don Fry. It's a pride fight, and these two guys, like, they're holding each other by the head, and they're hitting each other in, like, pure sync. They're, like, totally in sync with one another. This was that kind of fight, man. You could tell in the beginning Josh Collins maybe had a little more diverse of a game plan. He had a lot of other things he wanted to go on, but somewhere in there he was like, you know what, man, F it. I'm just going to start throwing hands, because that's what Colton O'Brien was doing, and he was doing a good job, man. He was landing some stiffening punches, man, that I think, Josh said it best himself, man. Once them hands started going, it was like, well, let's do it. And that's exactly what he did, man. Josh Collins comes out with the TKO victory. Uppercut snuck in there a little bit towards the end, I think of the first round. Might have been the second. But great display from both guys, man. It's one of those fights where, like, it makes you want to see Josh Collins again, of course, all the more. He's already a big, fan favorite and stuff, and has a good career, and he's super exciting. So, of course, that makes you excited to see the return. You're like, oh, he's back, man. But also, it's one of those fights where even the loser, even the guy that got beat, Colton O'Brien, gained so many fans, and people gained so much respect for him and his skills and the excitement that he brought that, you almost have to question, like, did that not help him more? Are we not more excited to see him now than, say, if he had won, like, a forgettable submission or something? That's not up for me to decide. I don't fight, and it's probably an opinion thing. But as far as I know and I could see in the crowd, people were talking about Colton O'Brien and Josh Collins, and I think that's a good thing, and I hope to see both those guys back in there doing that work. And that, my friend, brings us to the co-main event. Johnny Williams, Paul Teague. Paul did a good job. He spent a lot of the time defending, working the defense. He did well. He had some moments of success. We usually see Paul come out really strong and work it out. And the thing about him, he's so unorthodox. You never know when what's coming next, what he's going to do. It's very hard to tell if Paul is, fading off, if he's coming on. He's a difficult guy to read when it's on fight night, and which probably helps to his advantage. But Johnny Williams, man, just had the answer. He had the ticket, and he had it all night long, and just honest, he had it every round. He came in and he did amazing work. He showed, how much motivation and that he poured into his camp and those around him. He showed the power of his training partners and the facilities and in himself, and what that conflict title, and maybe not even the title itself, just defending something. Maybe that title transfers into something more, has a deeper meaning than just the belt itself. And I think Johnny showed that with an excellent win, put himself right in line, as did Colum, for your next fight at 145, which will be Johnny Williams defending his title against Robbie Colum. It's going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome fight. And the winner of that fight will go on to fight Mark Trader, who is our special commentator for the night at Conflict 28. It was a good night, man. And before we get to talking about the main event, I wanted to just announce again, Sam Promeny, the Panda, Nick Smiley, 2 pros, heavyweight. It is going down. Check it out. Have your ass there, because that is a fight you don't want to miss. 2 great guys and even better fighters. And what I can tell you is that this fight, people say, hey, this fight ain't going to go to decision, la-da-da-da-da. This fight is not going to decision. And that brings us to our main event of the night, man. Kobe Wall, your lightweight champion, defending his title against the former 145 who relinquished the title, moved to 155, Bart Weeks. And I gotta tell you, man, I said it at the show, man, we usually don't call shows by people's names, but Conflict 28, Wall versus Weeks, I think showed just why this fight was so big, why it had so much hype, why so many people came out to see it, and why it's been the talk of the MMA community for the past couple of days. In my opinion, what we saw on last Saturday night between Bart Weeks and Kobe Wall was like our own version of our own version of Sonnen versus Silva 1. Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva. Anderson did well. He had some successes, but he was being beat every round, and that's what we were seeing here, man. Kobe was not getting destroyed, but he was being beat every round except for one. I believe there was a 9-9. I did get an opportunity to look at the papers. Somebody actually said something. I made a comment like the judge I was sitting next to, I got to see the paper. Sitting next to me is relative to the cage. I wasn't sitting right next to these guys. I do walk past them a whole lot, and my eyes work. So, anyways, he was down, but one thing about Kobe Wall that I will say is, he says it a couple of times, and he's fought 2 guys in a row that I think a lot of people thought that were going to beat him, or even just run straight through him. And he makes these comments like, you have to kill me in the cage. And other people say this, and I got to tell you that Kobe is a friend of mine, as is Bart, and really everyone on the card in an MMA. But, I'm a total believer in that now. You do have to kill him because that he won, and he was losing every round. For round 1, they come out, man. Bart starts with the kicks. It's almost opposite. You hear about Kobe's kicks, Bart's hands. What we started seeing was Bart Weeks using this low leg kick on the lead leg of Kobe Wall, and this was the most effective fight against Kobe that I've seen. Knee swole as the rounds went on, man. Bart kept landing him. Kobe was checking him. Eventually, he had to start switching his stances. Then later on, as it went on, the kicks were dropping him to the mat. He was beating Kobe to the punch in the exchanges. Bart, it seemed there was a moment in there too, I think in the 3rd round, where Bart caught a knee on trying a takedown attempt. He seemed to get misty there. There was another strike or 2, and I think a block kick maybe, where we could see that it got through to some degree to Bart. Saw a stumble or 2 for sure. Never want to step in a fighter's mind and claim that they were rocked or anything like that, because it wasn't to that extent where I could just say that. But these guys put on a freaking war. And listen, when I say Kobe, was being bested by Bart round after round, he was being beaten. But he maintained a feeling that any second he could turn it around. And that's exactly what he did with about 25, 30 seconds left in the 5th round, down by what I saw every round, and pulled off an armbar submission victory over Bart Weeks with seconds left, with his title slipping away and into the hands of Weeks, and he pulls off an armbar. It was absolutely incredible. It set the building, the state, the Southeast, everybody on fire. It was utterly amazing, and both guys earned, lived up to every ounce of this fight, every ounce. It's one of those interesting fights where, just like Silva, Son, and One, you can, both guys have a legit claim to doing well and to being great fighters. And I imagine both guys are going to go pro very, very soon. I can't see why either would hang around so much after what we saw tonight. Or on Saturday night. It was an amazing display, a beautiful card, and I really think what we saw were in Bart Weeks and Kobe Wallace, two fighters become themselves last Saturday night. I think each man found out just who they were. It was a lot more than just a fight. It was a lot more than just a title fight. It was something that changed people. I think for everyone involved in that title fight, it might as well have been for UFC gold. It might as well have been for everything, for the crown. And you could feel that, and it made it special and beautiful, and that's what we do. So quick shout outs, man, as we wrap this thing up, getting on about 20 minutes. Shout out to Ring to Cage. Definitely huge shout outs to ssfightstore.com. They did a lot of good work at Conflict 28 with the banners, the logos, the shirts. I suggest all you fighters out there, man, whatever you're rocking, go on and put that, get with Source Armor at Fight Store. That's ssfightstore.com. Check them out, man. Also, Garden City Automotive. When we were down in the SAV area in GA, we always love to show them love, and they show it back. I actually bought a vehicle from these guys before they sponsored all this stuff. So you guys check them out, man. They have great deals. Down to earth, of course, all my folks over at Poor Larry's who keep the party going on. They moved the Conflict party to the downtown SAV party, so a lot of respect for that. And of course, Omega Island Time Grill and War of the Words. Man, I'm R Eric Ellison. We're going to see you in July for Conflict 29. I know you're saying to yourself, what am I going to do with my time in June? But you know what? It's the Southeast, man. We got beautiful MMA all around, and if nothing else, you can come hang out with me on the show. You can get down. We got lots of stuff going on, man. I promise you this wait for July will be worth it. It's going to be one of the most stunning cards. I mean, honestly, it's going to be one of the most freaking stunning cards that you personally have seen down here, and you will be able to get to it and see epicness unfold before yon eyes, my friend. On behalf of myself and all of those like me, this is R Eric Ellison doing the Conflict 28 coverage. Y'all take it easy.